And really, a favor program is a IRS tax-free program that kind of hits on all of the, I would say, really hits on all the flaws that Carrie just mentioned. It helps folks to reduce their costs and avoid over reimbursing high mileage drivers. As we know, again, that IRS reimbursement rate is quite high and only continuing to get high. And to think about it, in the perspective of you guys, if you've got a merchandiser or a sales rep that is driving, 1,500 miles per month, which is pretty common in your space and pretty common from what we hear. They're pocketing almost $1,000 every month off of that. And I think we can all kind of agree that's a pretty rich paycheck to be receiving. And so being able to have a reimbursement program and have a vehicle program that helps you reduce your costs. And it's not about reducing them in a negative way. It's about reducing them in a way, to have them be fair for your drivers. I think the other real key thing that we hear here as to why folks are moving to favor programs and just in general making decisions to make changes to their vehicle programs comes around that budget control. You're wanting to have a budget that can match your own company goals and plans for this year and the following year after. I think a lot of the reasons that folks, again, may tend to stick in one reimbursement program without any changes is because there's kind of that fear to think that, gosh, if I make this change, what's that going to do for my budget? And so it's really important to be able to do your research and work, and do your research internally to be able to design a program that's going to give you control over your budget and not put you underwater. And then really kind of the third reason I think we see folks moving to favor programs and or making changes to their programs really kind of comes around to this idea of employee fairness and freedom of choice. I'll talk briefly on employee fairness. When you think about having drivers that are of different seniority levels and wanting to kind of reimburse them depending on what they're actively driving, what their job descriptions and duties might include of them. Freedom of choice is a big one where we see for folks when they're transitioning away from company car programs to a personal vehicle reimbursement. You guys are likely employing a lot of millennials and Gen Z right now. And the idea of them needing a company car might just not be the same concept that it was 15 or 20 years ago. And so being able to kind of give that freedom of choice could be viewed as a really big benefit to a lot of employees here. So to kind of summarize again, I think really the biggest reasons that we see, folks making changes to their program are really kind of all centered around this, how can I reduce my costs and how can I reduce my spend in this category? Again, the second one being the budget control. And then thirdly, how can I make things fair and really attractive for my employees as well?